Hi, everybody. Welcome to Homemade. I'm Chef Diana. So happy to be here with you and partnering today with our Dorot partner who we absolutely love. I'm completely obsessed with these products. So I'm going to talk about not only the ones that we're using today, so many fabulous herbs and spices that we're using, but also some of my favorites. And thank you, Dorot, for such an amazing product that I wish I'd come to know 30 years ago. But anyway, you can find these beautiful products in the frozen aisle of your grocery store, beautiful little packages. I actually kind of like the fact that they are in small packages because a lot of the times the frozen food section has many large packages in it, and so they kind of almost stand out because they're small and then they're beautiful, these beautiful, colorful packages, easy to find. If your grocery store is not carrying the ones that you enjoy, please let them know that you will buy them if they stock them for you. So these are things that I just can't do without in my kitchen today. Even as a professional chef, always looking for high quality products and shortcuts. Sometimes, we're busy too. We don't always want to cook from the raw garlic or caramelized onions. So I love these high quality shortcuts that are available and pre-portioned, flash frozen at their freshness. So we're going to get cooking here pretty soon. Here at Homemade, we're so happy to be introducing today. This is our first YouTube segment. And YouTube, congratulations on 20 years in the business. We're finally getting on board here and testing this out today, hoping to use YouTube as a platform in the future. So please, those of you who are joining us, let us know how you like it. Give us your comments. And speaking of comments, hi, Mary.
Hi, amazing segue, Chef Diana. How are you this morning?
I'm great. I'm a morning person.
And that's why we're going to make an easy, breezy brunch. It's so Diana. I love it. I love it.
Easy, breezy brunch. Say that 10 times really fast. How much caffeine have you had? So I am not a breakfast person, but I'm definitely a brunch person. And this is such a fun recipe. So Mother's Day is coming up. Mother's Day is right around the corner here. And not only would these packages of the Dorot products be beautiful, wrapped in a bow for mom to find in the freezer on Mother's Day, but they're easy enough that anybody can cook with them. You just pop them in frozen, pre-portioned, pop, drop, and you're done. And they add so much flavor, layers and layers and layers of flavor. So super excited about that. Shall we get started? We're gonna use the oven temperature. We're gonna play with it just a little bit so that we can cook 2 dishes at the same time in the oven at the same temperature. So the egg dish calls for a 375-degree oven, which is, the eggs like to cook at a little bit of a lower temperature than our potatoes, which we're gonna be cooking really crispy and caramelize them. But we're going to split the difference in the oven temperature and go with about 410-ish, 400 degrees, and the eggs will be completely fine. So I'll talk more about that step when we get to it. But we do need to get these potatoes started. So I have 2 pounds of baby potatoes here, and I have cut them ahead of time in half because they were kind of medium-sized. So I just cut them in half. You don't want to do this too far in advance because they will oxidize or turn a little bit brown. But you know what? We're going to roast them anyway, so who really cares, right? So this step could definitely be done, not the day before, but maybe just, 30 minutes to an hour ahead of time. It's completely fine. Nothing wrong with that little browning or oxidation, which is what we're going to go for with roasting them anyway. So oven is preheating. And then I also wanted to show you that sometimes the reds, the baby reds, or whether they come in color varieties, so we have the white ones and the red ones here. But they sometimes are small, and you can just roast these whole, so that makes a really nice presentation as well. So we had some smaller ones, which I left whole, because I want them approximately the same size. So by cutting the larger ones in half, these will roast pretty evenly because they're approximately the same size. They don't have to be exact, but close is good when we're looking for even caramelization and color and doneness on these. Okay, so all done ahead of time. Super easy. We're going to start with actually making a little mixture in this bowl here. So we're going to whisk in the olive oil. So a couple tablespoons of olive oil. This lemon has been washed. You always want to wash and dry ahead of time. And we're going to use the zest first. So make sure if your recipe calls for lemon or citrus zest and the juice, make sure you always zest it first. sometimes recipes are written and it calls for the juice first, and you've already cut the lemon in half or the lime or whatever you're using, and then it says the zest. So I always like to read through the recipe completely, every step ahead of time for ingredients and method. I always preach that, and I don't always practice that. I try, but I don't always practice that. But it's a good idea just in case you come across that, and make sure you don't squeeze the lemon juice out and then go back and try and get the zest. It's easier, much easier when the lemon is whole and you haven't cut it yet. So we're using this little microplane to get off that lemon zest, which is full of lemon oils and flavor. And then we will cut the lemon and juice it. Each lemon has approximately 2 to 3 tablespoons of juice, and that's approximate. As you know, you amazing chefs out there, each lemon is sometimes a little softer, sometimes a little bigger, sometimes a little smaller, so they vary. So we have approximately 2 to 3 tablespoons of juice in each lemon, so that's a good thing to kind of remember. So we've got the lemon juice in there. And then we're going to add some soy sauce or tamari if you're looking for a wheat-free version. And this isn't to make it, to give it sort of an Asian element. Soy sauce is it has what we call like umami in it. So it's a flavor, an earthy, wonderful layer of flavor, savory. Usually it's described as savory. So it just adds a nice little, another little note of depth to this recipe. I love that little addition in there. I think that's a really fun thing to have in here. So either soy sauce or tamari, which is a non-wheat version. And then in go the potatoes. And we'll just toss those around and coat them before we add the spices. So we're just sort of marinating these a little bit. They just don't have to sit very long at all in here. And then we're going to add our spices. So our spices today, we've got a really nice flavor profile. We have salt and pepper. We have a smoked paprika, which is different from Hungarian. Hungarian paprika is a little more sweet, and smoked paprika has that smokiness flavor to it. Onion powder and garlic powder. And we're just going to sprinkle those on and then toss, coating completely, making sure that they're evenly dispersed. And then into the oven they go. So I've got a sheet pan lined with parchment paper here. And we'll put this olive oil off to the side for our egg dish, which is coming up next. And we'll spread these out on the sheet pan. And the recipe says to put them cut side down for better caramelization. But instead of that, I'm just going to toss them around in the oven every now and then. I'm not going to take the time to put each one down. They'll caramelize nicely, and we'll just give them a little shake and a little toss about halfway through the cooking time. The important thing here is to make sure that they're just kind of spread out and they have basically a single layer. They can be touching slightly, but we don't want a big mound of them, because then they'll just kind of sweat and release their moisture, and that will keep them from caramelizing nicely, okay? So they're going to go into the hot oven. It's been preheated. How are folks doing, Mary?
I'm having so much fun in the chat this morning with everybody.
Yeah?
I'm mostly just getting ideas, shopping for ideas for my mom for Mother's Day. Steph loves to do a crepe situation for her mom for Mother's Day.
Who doesn't love
little
crepes?
Suzette, little Nutella, bananas. Meg is a big fan of lox brunch with all the fixings for her mom. Yeah, I love Mother's Day. Means spring, means brunch, means it's light all the time.
Yeah,
it's just the best.
Mom's
It's the best.
happy. You know, we were talking earlier about Mother's Day breakfast or brunch or presents or whatever. And if you make something, even if you're not a great cook or whatever, just make something it's made with love. You know, my love language is definitely cooking and giving food to people. And if anybody cooks for me, I don't care what it is. I'm so grateful, so grateful. I don't care what it is. And I love all of those things. But the crepe, basically a really super thin pancake. Who doesn't love that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this frittata is something that you can make ahead of time and even serve mom the day after.
Yes.
And then go, oh, and I woke up, maybe you slept in alongside mom and you said, this is, I worked all night on this.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy. Easy breezy. Easy peasy. Right? Okay, so here we go. Caramelized, let's talk about these caramelized onions. First of all, I'm gonna get the garlic started in this pan on the stove just a little bit. So we're gonna use that olive oil again. And you could use butter, olive oil, half and half. You know what? I've got this butter here. Let's use it. A little melted butter. And you could also switch that combination up in the potatoes too. You could use half oil and half butter. I wouldn't use all butter because butter has a tendency to burn a little bit more than oil does. So I would definitely use half and half, and the oil will keep the butter from burning. You can use all olive oil, straight across, whatever. So mix it up, have fun with it. So what we're gonna do first in this pan, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it up now that we're getting going on it. And I'm gonna just pop, drop, and be done with this garlic. And I love this product. We'll put 2 garlic cloves in there, portions of garlic. Stir that around a little bit. And then,
This is Diana's favorite part. We're going to really start talking about these caramelized onions here.
yeah, I know, I'm a morning person. I was like, blah, 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 caramelized onions, like, blah, 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 going on and on and on this
No,
morning.
it's amazing. It's amazing. Show them.
So if you're joining us now, and we love having you whenever you can get here. The potatoes are already in the oven, high temperature, and they need to caramelize for a while. And they take longer than the egg dish, so you don't start them all at the same time. The potatoes definitely have to get a head start. So we want to do that. And then now we're starting on the egg dish. So I've got the oven cranked up pretty high for those potatoes to start caramelizing. I'm going to go ahead and put in, yes, this entire package of the caramelized onions. And they just pop right out of here. And look at the color. As soon as I get out of the way here, you can see the color on these onions because they're perfect. So yes, I am a professional chef. And yes, I know how to caramelize onions. But you know what? The key to a good caramelized onion is low and slow. That's what we always say, low and slow. So to have the onions caramelize like this beautifully, perfectly caramelized onion mixture, it takes a long time. So you have to start them. Well, we used to make caramelized onions for all kinds of things. I owned a restaurant a long time ago, and we used to use a lot of caramelized onions because the depth of flavor is so good in many things. And I would come in, it would be like the first thing I would do in the morning is just put the onions on the stove and just really, really low, because I was there for 8 hours, right? And I was doing other things, and just put them on this, and just let them go for all day long. And every time you walk by, you just give them a little stir, and they get browner and browner. But to have them this nice takes a long time. So what a luxury it is for all of us that these products are available, that they are perfectly caramelized, pre-portioned, right out of the package. Love it. I'm actually obsessed. Can you tell? I'm obsessed with these.
She loves them, you guys.
I'm like actually kind of salivating. Maybe I need to.
I love it.
Maybe I need to put my bib on now. So what we're looking for is that just to melt them. They're already cooked perfectly, and if they caramelize just a tad more, great, no problem. But what happens when you're caramelizing onions from scratch, and there's nothing wrong with that if you have an extra 12 hours in your day. Who does? Who has an extra 12 hours in your day? It doesn't take that long. Slight exaggeration. But what happens is either they're not done enough, and then they're just a sauteed onion, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So we have a sauteed onion. Or you let them go just a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer, and then all of a sudden, guess what? They're burned. They're black, which kind of is a bad thing because they have so much sugar in them. The onions have so much sugar in them, and that's why they get nice and brown, because of the sugars, natural sugars. And that when they turn black, they do taste bitter. They do have, it's not a great taste. So, love this product. And yes, if you're making the full recipe, you want the whole package. Sorry, Mary.
No, that's okay. Look, she's getting lost in the onions, folks. Steph said in the chat, don't ever believe a cookbook that says you can caramelize an onion in 20 minutes.
Huh.
No, I totally
Magic
agree.
wand?
Exactly.
Yeah.
How long does it normally take? Up to 12 hours.
Yeah, realistically, I know I kind of went off on a tangent there. Realistically, if you're doing like one full regular sized onion slices, realistically, it would take me about an hour if I wanted
Yeah.
proper caramelization. And again, I would be multitasking and doing other things. You don't have to stand there and watch it for an hour. So sure, if you've got a lot of things going on, go ahead and, unload the dishes, go change the laundry from the washer to the dryer, come back, give them a stir. You can do them, sure, and an hour or so, but why not here?
And just a reminder that the Dorot product, it doesn't say caramelized onions. They're called sautéed glazed onions. But the flavor, it's caramelized.
But it's caramelized.
It's delish. It's
Thank
delish.
you. Thank you for that. That's absolutely correct. Okay, so let's put in the parsley. And I turn the heat, actually, I'm just going to turn it way down. So I'm going to pop, actually right through there, right? Right through the plastic there, the parsley, and then the heat is way down, and we're just gonna let the residual heat melt those as we work on the other steps here. Okay? We're good to go. So 6 eggs, beautiful, fresh eggs in this bowl. And then we have a little bit of cream, which is optional. So you could use milk or half and half, or heavy cream, which we're using today, which is gonna give this a little richness, especially if you're making it for a kind of a special occasion. So we'll add 1/4 cup of heavy cream. And then again, we're gonna use the same profile of spices. So we have salt and black pepper and a little bit of that smoked paprika, and we'll just add that to the eggs as well. And then we're gonna mix in some grated, I'm using cheddar cheese today, but you could certainly use any cheese that you had around or buy what you like and incorporate that cheese. Anything, what doesn't go with these glazed onions and eggs? Lots and lots of different cheese would pair well with that. Or if you don't do cheese, then you can skip the cheese, but it does add a really nice flavor to that. So we're gonna go ahead and mix in the cheese. And then we'll get ready to cook this. So we'll make sure that the parsley has melted, and it does. See how quickly that melts in there. Incorporate that flavor. And I'm gonna turn the pan up a little bit as we add the eggs.
Diana, I have a question for
Yeah.
you. Let's see. Angie in the chat has asked, going back to onions, I know we're going to be talking about caramelizing onions today a little bit. Is there a hack to add a bit of baking soda to speed up the caramelization process of the onions?
I have never heard that. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist or that it doesn't work. I have never heard that. And I love food science so much that I would love to, if anybody has any knowledge about the science behind that, I would love to know.
Oh yeah, let's workshop this in our home kitchens a little more and talk about it in the chat. I want to know. Okay, we're in the chat. We're saying we think it promotes browning. Let's keep our science hats on, folks.
Yeah, I love that. I love kitchen science, and I can get kind of geeky about it, even though I don't know a lot about like the real science behind it. I know why things work sometimes, or how, or that I should say. I know a lot how things work, but I don't always know why. But I'd love to know why. And another thing I love about teaching these classes is I always learn so much from all of you out there. So thank you for that. Keep that chat coming. Keep those comments and tidbits of knowledge, of your knowledge. Keep them coming. Okay, so what we're doing is I'm just letting this set up a little bit. It's going to do most of its cooking in the oven. The entire package of the glazed onions, I would say yes. Initially, when I first made this, I thought, that's a lot. And I don't have a problem with that, but I'm like, wow, that's a lot. And trust me, you want them all in there. It's really, really, really good. Also, the process with the glazed onions, the cooking of them takes some of the bite, the heat out of the onion and makes them more sweet. And so that's a really nice feature of those pre-portioned frozen ones as well. Okay, so I've got a little simmer around the edges. I see that it's just starting to set up. So I'm going to put this in the oven. I'm going to flip the potatoes around or just give them a little shake around in the oven so that they distribute and hopefully land on another side. They will, to caramelize that side. Oven heat is really nice because we get heat from above and below. So even if they all perfectly don't land on the other side, we're still gonna get heat on both sides of that onion. Okay, so that's really nice about using the oven as well for this.
Okay, Diana, do you want to know what we've discovered about
Yeah.
caramelizing onions? I love this community.
You're not gonna torment me and
No.
make me wait? Yay.
Exactly. Okay. The Onion Association on Google says baking soda does indeed promote browning, but it accelerates the Maillard reaction, which is responsible for the browning and development of flavors in caramelized onions. Did you hear about that reaction in chef school?
Well, I do know about the Maillard. Maillard. It was on a test
Exactly.
once, and I had to practice the spelling of it because
Love
yes,
it.
it was on a test once, and but I didn't know that baking soda would help speed that up.
Exactly. And it
Thank
can
you.
also cause the onions to break down faster, so it could be a little mushy instead. So it's always about timing, and you kind of have to babysit when you
Yeah.
caramelize onions. With the Dorot products, you pop, drop, you're done. That's
Yeah.
what we love about them.
Yep, amongst many other things. Okay, so what could we serve with this easy breezy, easy peasy, easy breezy brunch? So many things, right? First thing that comes to my mind is, it's pretty standard, pretty traditional though, is like beautiful fresh fruit. I know here in the Pacific Northwest, we're just starting to get into like strawberries, I think are like tomorrow. Like they're so close, so close. We have some beautiful sunny weather here today, and so strawberries will be one of our first fresh fruits that come out. So I think and then there's also, lovely fruit that you can buy that's from close to here. So fresh fruit I think would be delicious with this. Anybody else have any other suggestions? I think, what about some sauteed spinach, right? Add a little green. I think that would be delicious. Let's see what you all come up with for things that you could serve this easy, breezy brunch with.
Yeah, let's ask.
And then while you're talking to Mary about those lovely ideas you're going to come up with, things that you could add to this brunch, we have some sour cream here in this bowl. And earlier, just right before class started, I wanted to use some of one of the Dorot products I'm almost as obsessed with as the onions, and that is the dill. I love dill. I don't think everybody loves dill. I think most people do. I know some people that don't, but it is one of my favorite herbs, especially this time of year when we start getting zucchini and cucumbers and tomatoes, and I love to pair dill with that. So I just popped out 3 of the dill portions into 3/4 of a cup of sour cream. I'm making a little extra, a little more than I need because this is so great on so many other things. And in 7 or 8 minutes since I did that, the dill has thawed, and I can just whisk this together. And look at, also, if I freeze my own herbs at home, they don't stay green, right? We have a problem with that. I do. If anybody knows the science behind that. So look at how beautiful those Dorot products stay. That dill, it's just a beautiful light green. If you want more dill flavor, you could just add more. It would become more green and more flavorful. So I think that's going to be absolutely delicious as a topping on, I was going to say the potatoes, but what about the eggs? Wouldn't it be good on either one of those or both of those? I think it would pair really well with all of them, even though we're going to add a variety of other herbs to the dishes as well. So we have that ready to go. Did we get any good ideas there?
Oh, surely we did. Fresh arugula salad, a little lemon, and
Yeah.
obviously sides of bacon, sides of sausage. Yeah, this is the main course, but anything that your mom or loved one might enjoy on the side. I just like a big bowl of berries sometimes.
Yeah.
Why not?
I also like the meat ideas. If you are an animal protein person, you could also do some crumbled sausage or bacon right into the frittata dish. Why not? You could add it in, take it up a notch there with that, or serve it on the side. Either one would be great, wouldn't it? Really nice. I'm also going to use the residual heat in my oven to warm my plate up. Now, this is a trick that I do all the time. In a restaurant, when I owned my restaurant, when I taught culinary arts, it was something that it was critical. If we're serving hot food, the plate has to be warm. And notice I'm not saying hot, I'm saying the plate has to be warm. So you don't want a plate to be too hot to the touch because then it's cooking the food more, right? But if you're putting something, especially like eggs, when eggs are meant to be served hot, I don't want to put them on a cold plate. I certainly don't want to put them on a plate that's too hot. I want it just a nice, warm to the touch plate. So I often will use the residual heat from my oven to warm my plates. So I'm just going to put this plate in the oven. I have a second oven here that was on earlier. And I need to turn these off actually because we're almost ready to go. But I want to show you what happens with the potatoes. So they're getting nice and caramelized. You can let them go a little longer. They're small enough that they pierce pretty easily with a fork. So they're super close to being done. I'm just going to toss them around a little bit. The longer you go, the more creamy they'll be inside and the more caramely they'll be. So some of these, great shot, Richard, thank you. You can see have a little more caramelization than others, but they're all the same doneness, even though some of them are a little more caramelized on one side than the other. They have cooked evenly because they're all about the same size. So we're going to go ahead and finish these with some more of those lovely herbs. So we're going to add parsley again, and we're going to let the residual heat, I'm going to put it back in the oven just to melt this a little bit quicker and heat up the potatoes. I mean, they're pretty darn hot, but just hot potatoes, we want to make sure that they're really hot, right? There's basil and cilantro. Really nice combination of 3 different Dorot, beautiful herbs. And then these go back in the freezer when you finish using them. Make sure they go right back in the freezer so they stay nice like that. We'll put this back in the oven. And I'm going to go ahead and pull the frittata out because I think it's done. And if it's not, we'll put it back in. We're just going to check it a little bit. So how do we check this? It looks to me, when I shake it like this, it looks like it might be just a little bit loose in the center. See this little loose here? So it's just cheesy though. It's so close. It needs like 1 more minute. We're gonna put it back in with the potatoes for 1 more minute, and then we're gonna be pretty much ready to go and plate. Anybody ready for easy peasy brunch?
Lemon squeezy, lemon squeezy.
Lemon squeezy, easy peasy. Okay, let's turn this back on just briefly and get that going. Anybody have any comments on the YouTube, Mary?
I'm loving this YouTube.
Yeah?
Just people loving the potatoes. I see so often the Dorot products being used in like over a hot stove, and it's refreshing and cool to see it being stirred in to a sauce,
right,
and then used as like a potato glaze. Like they're flash frozen at peak freshness, say that 10 times fast, so that you don't even have to think twice about their ease of use.
Right.
It's just lovely. It's
yeah,
lovely.
I love that you brought up those points, you or the people that are here with us today in the chat, because that is nice that they're so versatile. Like some, as you mentioned, and I'm just reiterating what you said, but the fact that today we are using them like before, like in the initial cooking process, and then we're finishing with them. So we're cooking, and then we're also using them directly out of the package, just into that sour cream, just melt into the sour cream. And I also, there's another one that I'm obsessed with. What's the word of the day today? May 1. Obsessed. I'm obsessed with this. The turmeric. Oh my gosh, turmeric is so good. And I am a firm believer in that, food is medicine. And I know we at Homemade believe that here so much, and we practice that. food as medicine. And turmeric is really, it's an anti-inflammatory, it's really healthy. So sure, you can buy turmeric capsules, and yes, they're good for you. And you can use it as a spice, and yes, that's good for you. And you can buy it fresh, it's very expensive, and you can grate it and add it to things, your smoothies or your water. And yes, it's delicious and it's wonderful and it's good for you. But oh my gosh, these little pre-portioned turmeric, Dorot, I'm obsessed. And I just like to pop one in a water bottle in the morning, maybe with a little lemon and maybe one of their ginger as well. And especially if it's a cold day outside, you just kind of sip that throughout the day, and it's so healthy and it makes me feel so good. And I'm getting all of those wonderful vitamins and minerals that are in those products as well. So tons of uses for these. All right.
Love it. I have a quick question for you also. I've already answered in the chat, but curious what you think. Will the potatoes get soggy adding frozen herb cubes?
No.
Tell us more.
We're not adding a whole package. And the potatoes are hot enough that there's residual heat and they're steaming. It's releasing the moisture because the potatoes are, you know how potatoes are so hot? Has anybody besides me ever looked at a French fry or something and said, oh my gosh, that looks so good and I have to eat it right now, and you've taken a bite and you burned the top of your mouth? Is anybody besides me done that? Mary, you raising both hands?
I would say every time.
Every time.
Every time.
You just can't resist it, right? So the potatoes retain the heat so well that that any residual moisture in the fresh herbs is going to dissipate very, very quickly, and that's not going to be a problem. But that is such a great question, such a great question. We definitely don't want to take the time to get them all nice and crispy and then just defeat that by adding moisture, right? So that's really great thinking. Thank you for that. All right, we definitely have a frittata that's done. Let's see if the stove will cooperate with that. Remember that this handle is hot. So we have asked you to use a heat-proof pan today. So this is something that I commonly see, especially when I was teaching culinary arts, is that somebody would put a pan out of the oven like that, and then somebody else would come by, or even the same person, and I've done this too, you grab that handle. That handle is really, really, really hot, okay? So that can really damage the inside of your pan. And this was a practice that I did in the restaurant business. I did it when I taught culinary arts, and my husband and I do it at home. If there's a pan out of the oven and the pan handle is hot, we just put a towel on it. It just says, oh, that's hot, right? So it's a good cue, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who has burned the inside of my hand. And that takes a long time to heal, and this is something that you need to use a lot, right? Like when I ride my motorcycle. I need to.
Yeah, come for the recipes, but stay for the kitchen safety tips from Chef Diana. It's perfect.
Okay, look at these. So good caramelization. The herbs are just melted enough. Toss them around. And I would not, you could make these ahead of time or make more and reheat them. They would reheat pretty well. I would put them into a super, super hot oven to reheat them. And just not cook them too much longer. So just really hot oven. Oh my gosh, the smell of that combination of those herbs. And then we have our plate that is just warm. So we'll put the potatoes on there first. They're going to lose their heat. The eggs are going to lose their heat the fastest. So potatoes first. Nice big pile of those lovely herby. And then, very carefully, because we have a pan here that we don't want to scratch the surface of, we'll just make a nice little slice. You could cut this any way you want to, of the frittata. Ooh, the bottom is nice and just lightly browned, so we have a little flavor on there as well. And you know, somebody mentioned, Mary, the arugula. That would be so pretty on here, like that little arugula salad.
Just like a little garnish, a little thoughtful garnish for Mom. Why not?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started on the sauce. Here it
So
comes.
Where are we going to put it? Right between?
Yeah.
Where's it going to go?
That way you can double dip.
Yeah.
It goes with everything on the plate. Perfect.
And then a little, yeah, if you had some fresh herbs around, and we've got so many herbs going on in here, but if you had some fresh herbs around, that would be delicious in there as well. So that's it. And I didn't put any seasoning in the sour cream mixture because I just don't think that we really need it. I think that there's so much going on. We've got salt and pepper and that lovely smoked paprika that's in both of these and all those fresh herbs. I just think that this nice and fresh and simple with the dill is just enough. I didn't want to season that. You don't want to over season. Seasoning's important, but you don't want to over season. So anyway, I'm super excited to try this. But some of you know how messy I am. I know. Anybody who has ever eaten with me knows how messy I am.
The great dawning of the bib. Here it comes.
So this was so fun, Dorot, and thank you so much again for your amazing products. We've talked about where to find them. Make sure and ask for specific ones if you don't see them in your grocery store. Your grocery is customer service oriented, so near the customer, so let them know what you want. Really excited about this. And we do have another class coming up, and that class is going to be Awesome Sauces. I love these titles. Whose name?
I know it.
Yeah, this is such great. I love these titles. Easy Breezy Brunch and Awesome Sauces, and that's May 13th at 4 p.m. So register on Homemade Cooking, and that is with our fearless founder, the amazing Chef Joel will be here teaching that class. So make sure that you attend that one. And amazing sauce. I love sauce. Who doesn't love sauce? Love sauce. In fact, I'm going to put some of this sauce right here. Let's see. I wonder if that potato's still too hot. Let's see. Oh,
I
it's
love
nice and
Diana's
creamy.
eating strategies at all times. Okay, what do we think?
Caramelized on the outside, full of flavor, but then inside the interior of the potato, it's creamy. It's creamy and like perfectly done. Love it. And I really love it with this dill sour cream too. I mean, it's delicious without, but I love it with it too. So good.
Okay, well, Diana finishes up her bite with her bib. You can find all of our classes on demand, and after this, we'll be posting this on our YouTube channel. And you can find and register for other classes on homemadecooking.com. This is our very first YouTube live class, and we're really excited. The chat was so fun today. So catch us here next time, and talk to you all soon.
Thank you so much for coming. Eat well, be well. Bye.